This month's topic is ego yet humility. One of the things that we're always taught and cautioned against when uh, rising up, it's very much against the idea of being egotistical, to being very proud and prideful. And it falls in line with a lot of conventional wisdom on how I view this is that it's good in moderation. So take any sort of project you're working on, anything that you've put a lot of effort into, and time, and you've gathered so much experience. You feel proud, and that's a good thing. Pride is what helps us stay the course. When you're writing uh, school, for instance, you know, I've been going through school for a couple of years now. I'm going through college, and the sense of pride I have at my accomplishment. I recently acquired my associate's degree. The amount of pride I found in getting that and the sense of accomplishment has helped me fuel myself to finish my bachelor's degree. And in my leatherworking, I take pride in every cut, everything I do. I've built it through hard experience, wasted materials, cuts on my hands, bleeding over my work, and it's experience that has brought me a great deal of pride and satisfaction in what I do. But a lot of people seem to think that pride is bad, just like anger is inherently bad. There and many other emotions and feelings and states of mind and being are very bad, but it's really a moderation issue. You can have a little bit of candy, you just can't be eating a fistful of candy a day out of a bag. That's what rots your teeth. And it's achieving that good balance that's most important. That's where humility kind of kicks in. Um, I know a man who practiced his humility by rejecting everything someone said that was good about him and only accepting the negative. Unfortunately, he started believing the negative is true. Human psychology indicates that if you're told the same thing repetitively, you'll eventually believe it's true. It's because how often can you hear one thing be stated so many times and it be a false idea? That's something that doesn't happen. That's why, for instance, you see McDonald's commercials or commercials on YouTube, and they're so repetitive. That's why. After all, even if you have no interest in Big Macs and fries, if you see that same ad 10 times in a day, you're more likely to think, it might not be so bad. And it's a repetitive motion that caused him to take his pushing away of his denial of his ability, and it turned him sour against what he was doing. Unfortunately, when you turn sour, that can really lead to burnout, and you don't even want to touch something you loved. On the other side, something which I struggle with is when someone feeds that ego. I accept my ego as something that's part of me. It's something that you have to nurture, but also keep in check. And it's very easy to get a large head. Um, and one of the biggest problems with your ego is it can blind you. Blind you in amazing ways. And it closes you off to other things. Imagine it's like air pressure in a house that keeps shutting all the doors. If that pressure gets too high, even if you open the door, you'll watch it shut. Um, Anytime when you have a windy day, open up the doors and have some um, contrary airflows in your house and watch the doors start slamming shut when you're in the kitchen. That's what the ego does when it gets too strong. It can close off these doors and mental pathways and cause you to become blind to your own mistakes. Um, Within one of my groups, we do foam weapon combat, and there's a phenomenon when you have someone who's been fighting for years and years and years, and he fights someone who's brand new, never picked up a sword before unless it was a stick when he was a kid. And this new guy gets a stroke of beginner's luck, or he moves in a way that the veteran doesn't expect, and you know hits the veteran. The veteran thinks, "This guy is new. I have been doing this for 10 years. How did he do that? That's wrong. I completely reject the notion that this brand spanking new guy could touch me. It's an active rejection of the truth because it doesn't meet with what our ego tells us. So that's what happens when it becomes out of control. You completely refuse to listen to the truth. And it's not as bad as being ignorant. Being ignorant of the truth is just not knowing. But this is intentional ignorance. This is refusal to listen. And that's what's so harmful about it, because it's almost like you never heard it in the first place. You can hear someone say, dude, you're messing up, you're having this issue. And that in your brain you're saying, I know what I'm doing, I'm good. My ego says I am cool, I'm not doing anything wrong, it's everyone else who's jacked up. Well, when 10 people are telling you there's a problem, there's generally a problem, whether you recognize it or not. And if you don't recognize it, it's going to cause a lot of issues. So part of having an ego, part of attaining that balance, is creating your humility. Humility is not something that it doesn't come easy to a lot of people. Because part of the balance is you have to be able to respect what you're doing and have a good estimate of the actual value you're bringing. If you make a craft, understand you may have done a very good job, but at the same time, it doesn't make you a master. Your way is not the only way to do things. And you have to constantly tell yourself that, because it's not an issue of you did it right. Congratulations, you've done it right. So is everyone else. But it's good on you that you've taken the time and you've done it. And now you can do a different thing. You can do that better. You can refine it. You can work on it. It's tamping down that urge to pat yourself on the back and show it to everyone. Say, look at me. I did this. I'm so good. I'm so great. No. You can do that. You can have your chocolate cake. But it should truly be something extraordinary and should never be self-congratulatory. You can have people tell you it's good, that you're doing an amazing thing without you being self-congratulatory. When you make something, one of the reasons why I like to make things for others and not myself is because when I do it for someone else, it's not about me anymore, it's about them. And it's their product, it's something that they're going to wear. I make leather armor. It's going to be something that they wear and they trust and they feel secure in wearing it. And it's not about me. Yeah, I'm proud of my work. I'm amazingly proud of my work because it took a long time for me to learn how to do much of this. A lot of hours. And for one of the projects I'm most proud of, we spent 18 hours from a Friday night to a Sunday morning working on it for a 3 a.m. delivery. And am I proud of it? Yes. But also, I am not proud of the fact that it was 18 hours on a weekend when I had multiple days to work on it. There's a lot of, it's about refining and taking that I did good and it's finding out how you can do it better. Never accepting what you've done as the end all be all, because that's where your ego starts. You can be proud, but the ego starts really eating and feeding and gorging itself when you sit back and say, yeah, that's good. I'm done. I don't gotta do no more. When you hit that stage, that's when your ego starts to fluff itself up and take residence. And the people I've met, the metal workers, the leather workers, the accountants, the CPAs, the business leaders, the men and women who have all the right in the world, from my perspective, to be insanely proud and strut and say, look at me. Men and women who have doctorates, professors, and they have every right, from my point of view, because they're so experienced, to almost lord it over me. Like, well, Nice try there, but let me show you how it's really done. They have every right to have that ability to say it, and I will listen to them because they have that experience. I won't like it, but they have that position of experience. But in the course of their experience getting to that point, they've acknowledged to themselves that I'm not the end all be all. I'm not the finest in the world. There's always someone better. It's a continual restructuring that we're always trying to better ourselves. We're trying to become more than we were yesterday. We're taking one technique and improving upon until it cannot be improved any further, and then looking at how to reapply the technique. It's constant evolution and strengthening and adapting and overcoming. That's how you fight your ego. That's how you keep that humility. It's that, yes, I did good, but next time I'm going to do better. This, I know I can do better. The most humble people I know, that's their common saying. I know I can do better. One of the most common phrases I hear, especially in regards to Jediism, is it's the very basic statement of, be mindful of your present. Don't be so concerned about the future. Be mindful of the future, but also be mindful of the present. For this, it's almost the exact opposite, because there is that balance. You have to remember the future, but you have to remember the present. But if you become too in that one specific object, whether it be your experience in the temple, be it in your experience at work, at school, in your day-to-day life, even dealing with your toddler, I am guilty of it. Everything you do, if you get so hung up that you stay in today and don't move on, you become that football dad who he played one season in high school and blew out his knee, and now he's every Saturday sitting there talking about, oh, I could have been at this game, I could have been with the Packers or the Dolphins, and it could have been me up there, but I blew out my knee. And he relives that single day over and over and over again. That's one of the downfalls of pride and living in that moment. Letting go of your pride, letting go of your ego, is accepting the moment and focusing on the future. It's creating something on top of what you've done today. And it's just like carrying a heavy object. It's like exercising. It's tough the first couple of times, but after a while it starts to become natural. It's something that you're just used to. And it's, growing up, my parents told me so many things, and I thought, this is too tough, this is too hard, I can't do it, I can't do it. And when I got to boot camp, I said the exact same thing. Boot camp for the Marine Corps, I can't do this. I'm going to do it, but I can't. And the next day it got easier and easier and easier until I wasn't really focused so much on how hard it was, but especially in the case of like the 3 mile run, I'm focused on other things. Trying to improve how my body's working, my breathing, my thought processes that help alleviate some of that stress. And you're not so much concerned about doing it; it's about doing it better. And you lose that burden of trying to be the very best, to showboat, to be, hey, look at me, I'm so awesome. And it's going to, after you get used to it, it's not even getting used to it, just starts happening naturally. And that's sort of where you want to be, because the worst thing I've ever seen is someone who tried to play off being humble when they are lapping it up, because you can spot it from a mile away every time. And it's an honest thing, and it won't come the first time, it won't come the second time. You have to constantly work at it, and remember, whatever I've done now, yeah, congratulations, I've done it, check in the box, I'm cool. What are we doing tomorrow? And taking what you've experienced today, what you've crafted, what you've spoken about, what you've learned, and then applying it tomorrow. There'll be a day when you sit there and think, there's nothing more I can learn in this. And that day you'll be wrong because there's something else to learn. You just haven't experienced it yet. In the world of tournaments, fighting, in the world of intelligence, testing, chess, anything in which there is more than, there's a bunch of humans involved, there's always someone better than you. You just have not met them. And it may very well be that person who beats you is a person that you've inspired, which means you have to keep going and becoming better. If you finish the Initiates program, there's more stuff for you to learn. If you become a knight, there's more stuff for you to learn. It may not be that you can focus on reading the books right now, but you can learn how to be a better mentor. When you've become a master, when you've become a clergyman, a cleric, when you start learning and you reach these points where they give you a title, that's just the start. And you have to keep going. You may not be focused on one thing when you get promoted or when you achieve this next step that you're focused on. But you just now have a new set of tasks. When it was January 1st, 2011 was the day I received my Eagle Globe and Anchor out in San Diego. Part of that was, congratulations, I have finished boot camp. I have done boot camp. I am cool and I'm done. I am officially a Marine, and I was so proud. And everyone around us, if you've met a Marine, you know how proud they are. And most of the time that comment goes up with good reason. It's a title that is earned. But the moment we got those Eagle Globe and Anchors, they told us immediately, you now have a standard to live up to. And tomorrow we will expect more of you. And you will fail. And when you fail, we will tell you to get back up and do it again until you do not fail. And then when you've succeeded there, we'll give you something else to do. It's a constant improvement. That's how we become not perfect, but on that way of becoming better humans, being better Jedi, being better accountants, or fighters, or preachers, friends, boyfriends, husbands, wives, sons, daughters. Everything we do in life can be improved upon. But we can't let that ego chain us down in yesterday. Because that's what it does, is it sits there and says, you did good yesterday, you don't gotta do no more, you are the expert. Finding that humility and saying, today was good, tomorrow's going to be better. Rejecting the notion that you are complete and finished and perfect. Accepting that you have flaws. That's how you have an ego and yet remain humble. At the end of the day, no one wants to listen to someone who talks down to them. Someone who's, I know everything. I know, I'm good, I'm a master, I've got all these medal awards I've given myself, I've done this, I've been doing it for 20 years. No one wants to learn from them. And if you can't teach, then you're only useful to yourself. Someone might buy products from you, someone might come to you for to employ your services, but at the end of the day, that's not someone I want to be my friend. That's not someone I want to connect with and understand, because there's nothing to understand. All they have to them is that they're the best. And I don't want to be friends with the best. I don't want to know the best. I want to help everyone become better, because there is no best. There's always tomorrow, though.